So I kept getting people asking me, are you going to play this game? Are you going to play this game? And no, I kept saying, I have no plans. I don't know. And then I looked into it a little bit and I was like, oh, this looks like it could be kind of fun. And I've never really played a Dynasty Warrior games. I've done like little visits here and there. I've never done a full playthrough of one. So I didn't even really know what the game was about. I played it for one session, and by the time I was done with it, I was like, oh, this is just dumb fun. Like this is just like over the top power fantasy. Like everything works. It runs well. There's a full progression system. The maps are different. Like there's lots of different weapon types. There's combos. It's just a fun game. It's just a fun game. The overland map is pretty cool. It's fully voice acted. I mean, you barely have to do any reading, just a little bit before each mission. And yeah, I am super enjoying it. I just got to the part, spoilers. I just got to the part in the game where you pick your dynasty. I know, big spoilers there. But it's, and I think I know who I'm going to go with, but I'm still kind of figuring it out. But yeah, I'm going to be playing it more tomorrow. I played it for like the last 4 or 5 days, and it is a very fun game.
What is,
just to be specific here, this is the Origins, right? The
Dynasty Warrior Origins, which I think is like a soft reboot or something. I'm not entirely sure.
I think it is. I think it is a reboot.
Yeah.
I also want to state, I tried this game because it has a free demo. That is a bad demo. I bounced off of it really hard, and it's not because the game is bad. It's because it throws you into like several missions ahead, and there's very little tutorialization about it. And so like I just got into the mission and I was just, what the fuck is oh man, I'm doing some cool, oh, I lost. And it's like, oh man, I'm doing some really, oh, I need to, okay. I got it. I lost.
That's a bit of a
it just needs to be more gradual. And so everything I was told is that the base game, the real, like the full game, is much more gradual when it comes to all of that stuff. But I could totally get down with like just the combat stuff. It was very flashy, very kind of mindless. Is exactly what you said, and it was great.
And what's super cool is like to the point of the game, and I'm at now, it's basically like when you get into the big fights, it's just pure cinema. Like you charge in, there's these huge, like actual predetermined charge in events where all of your guys will line up and wait for you. And then when you walk over and get behind them, you then get this like cinematic, the camera zooms in like charge kind of thing.
Nice.
And then at this point, I have so many skills and random stuff. Like by the time I'm fighting, I always have some kind of cinematic thing up. So I'm just like basically going through them and getting perfect parries, which are cinema. And then there's like fatality animations and like it's, so and then of course there's like,
do you get to choose those skills, or is that dependent on, like, is there a skill tree? Because I didn't interact with any of that. What is that process?
Every weapon type, there's a group of general skills that can be used on any weapon, and then every weapon has its own types, weapon skills that you unlock as you use them and get better with them. You can also buy them and get them from quest rewards. You can then slot those into 4 different skills you can use on you. You also have a battalion later that you can control, so you can have them like fire arrows, charge forward, and stuff like that. So on top of that, there's also like Musu, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Musu.
I think that's right.
M-O-S-O-U. Yeah, Musu skills, which are like these big things you can chain your skills with other people. There's the full parry system. And then each weapon also has its own little like differences. I'm using these dual halberds now, which can like knock the enemy up and then do a bunch of smashy stuff in the air, which is really fun. But there's other weapon types that kind of play completely differently as well. So you can kind of mix and match between them. And then what's also cool is while all this is going on, the enemies are doing their things. The whole fight is doing their things. And then there's these kind of grand strategy things that can happen too, where like your side or their side will have like little events that you have to do. And if you don't do them, or if you do them in your case, you get like big cinematic explosions and charges and morale switch changes. And yeah, it's very, very cinema. It's designed to have the experience be very fun to look at and very, cool to be in.
Yeah. I think this is a me problem because I had played, we'll talk about the game that I played right before I played this in the same session. But did you change the keybind? Are you using a controller by chance? Or are you using a keyboard and mouse?
I'm using a controller.
Okay. For me, when you push in on the left stick, it mounts you. I had the worst fucking time.
I frequently do that by accident. We were talking about that today, actually.
Yeah. Fighting in this cool fight, and then it's like, and I'm on a horse. It happened so much. That I would probably, that would be the thing that I would rebind right out of the gate. If you're prone to push in on that stick, like I am. Because in a lot of games, that's how you sprint. And I was hoping it would be the same. But I guess it makes sense that they would use that as the horse call. in this particular game, but totally a me issue, and not something that I think is widespread. So, any idea how long this game is? Like, how much actual like missions there are? Or
I am not sure. I can tell you, I've been playing it. I think I've been streaming it as of today. Like, I have 16-hour playtime on here, and I just got to the point where you pick your side. So,
okay,
I mean, granted, I've been doing a lot of side stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. Chat's saying like 30-ish hours for the first one, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What you mentioned you had to choose your kingdom. What does that actually mean? What is
There's 3 main sides.
does that just change the narrative?
I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
picked yet.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't know like what gameplay wise
not
how
sure.
that impacts it. We'll check in with you.
Go with
next
red
week.
team. That's all I'm saying. Go with red team. Red team is always the best choice.
Blue team was the best choice in 3 houses.
I'm probably going green, but thank you both.
Okay. All right. He's going. He chose the wrong one.
Sorry.
Gotta
I
be
need the bro.
difficult.
I need the bromance. You'll understand. You'll understand.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of green teams in the chat. You always go green. Woo equals red, shoe equals green, way equals blue. So your shoe, your team shoe.
Okay. Team shoe.
The Woo Shoe clan.
Oh, I will
Straight up
say.
Wu-Tang.
I don't know
Wushu
who made
clan.
this decision, but I will say it's kind of amazing that every single person in Dynasty Warrior Origins is an actual supermodel. And like, I don't mean a little bit. I mean, like, even the scars are beautiful.
I think it's
Like-
always
like-
been like that.
Man, it is wild. Like, everyone is just majestic. And they keep saying things that I'm fully convinced that whoever localized it did not do, like, by accident. Like, at one point, this guy named Dong Juan is talking about himself, and he's just like, "Oh, I see you're going to try to devour Dong." And I was like, dude, you don't.
Hell yeah, you are.
You don't say no. That's not like you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. Like you can't not.
When
know.
other warriors fall, Dong stands strong in your path.
And there's all sorts of weird stuff. Like this guy like wanders up to you and he's like, "Hey, I think I saw my soulmate at the last battle." And he's like looking at you and you're 2 guys and you're just like, "What?" And then he's like, "That man with the flowing locks you were fighting besides, you need to introduce me to him. I think he's my soulmate." And I'm just like, "Well, you 2 are gorgeous. I mean, sure, I guess."
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Okay, but yeah, that was a little. And then at one point, this like the whole everything is very surface level, and then there's this girl, and you're just kind of like hanging out at the end of the mission, and she's like, "Well, anyway, I think I'm gonna go unless you'd like me to stay the night with you." And she kind of smiles at you, and then it goes to you, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, where's my yeah?" And then the option was like, "What do you think of the battle tomorrow? Have a good night." And I was like, what is this? Like, why would she say?
So I'm coming at this from an extremely ignorant angle. Is this all Chinese myth? Is this Chinese history? Like what
I believe it's romanticized Chinese history.
Okay.
So it is stuff that happened that they're taking some liberties with,
Got it.
and that obviously you pick a side and stuff. So it's not exact history, but it is a blueprint of actual history and actual people, names, and places, and then some fun on top of that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't because the series has been around for so long, but the series in so many ways has been pigeonholed as to like, oh, that's a Muso game. It's a shit ton of people on the screen at once, and they're doing wild attacks, and you're doing that over and over and over and over. But for whatever reason, I think this one goes a little bit further than that, and also looks really good. Like it actually is a pretty cool presentation on the whole thing, and so it's grabbing a lot more interest this time around. But I had never.
My
played
question
it.
is, can you get by with button mashing, or do you have to learn the shit?
I think it all is button mashing, is it not, Co?
No, it's not button mashing. Like, I mean, there's you can button mash, yes, but there's a lot of timing as well. There's like timing and parries. There's timing on making sure that you get your attacks like going kind of where you want them to. There's windows that you need to exploit, but I'm playing on the hardest difficulty.
Okay.
And I died twice due to not really understanding what mission I'm supposed to be doing. You could play this easy and probably just mash yourself through it and have a good old time. And I will say, even when I'm doing the timing stuff, like 60+% of it's still just mashing.
Okay.
Yep.
More of a question for chat. Is this the game that I think he's canceled to oblivion now, but isn't this the game that Gerard tried to like 100% and it took forever? Once upon a time, or am I thinking of the wrong series?
Completionist?
Yeah. I think he
haven't
came
heard
on
that
this
name in a long
show
time.
and he talked about it. That was, it was the Zelda Hyrule Warriors. Okay. It was the Zelda Musu or whatever. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Chet, that completionist.
Yeah.
He's
was
not around anymore.
4 or 5 years ago, on the show. Anyways, Dynasty Warriors Origins out now on, I think it's on like all consoles, PlayStation, PC, which does also have a demo if you just want to see how it runs. But you really do need to read those tutorials in great length, or else you'll just get into the fight and lose immediately. Because you have to pay attention.
So you're saying you can't mash through the demo?
I played it on hardest difficulty and I was not able to mash through the demo, at least without failing. There is this cool mechanic that when you fail,
oh yeah,
or when you die, or when you fail a level, I don't know what the actual terminology is. You can like play back a battle and it'll have certain checkpoints. And so you can reload everything at a certain checkpoint and then play from there. Now that checkpoint might be bad in the sense that no matter what you do, you're going to lose because you just can't reach a certain objective in the amount of time that you need. But it is nice because you don't have to redo the whole battle most of the time, from what I found. And I don't know if that's a new addition to this or if that's always been there, but I did like that. I didn't have to replay the whole thing, just certain aspects of it and do different things, which is cool.
Yep. Use that feature extensively the first time I realized that I have to keep specific people alive. Whoops.
Yes. Yeah, there are fail states, and that's what happened in the demo. People would die and it would fail.
Yep. The tutorial does a good job of it, which unfortunately you didn't get to play, but it does teach you like exactly how to know who you need to protect and, you know, how to see where they are and stuff like that. So it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. I think also it's worth giving an explanation to Lubu and why you should always avoid and or
always
chase
pursue
Lubu.
him.
Always pursue him.
Lubu.
What does Lubu do?
Always.
Talk to me about Lubu.
I will tell you the voodoo that Lubu do.
Okay.
So the voodoo that Lubu do when he do his Lubu is basically voodoo that Lubu do to destroy anyone in front of him. Like he's basically canonically like never loses a fight.
Okay.
Like he does any, and I don't know if you play him in other Dynasty Warriors, but he is the honcho. He does lose battles because, you know, people that he is fighting with kind of suck, but he is like the Superman of the world in some ways. He's the final boss, if you will. And he may actually be, I don't know. But he is like, anytime you see him, and you do, slight spoilers, but you do see him in the game, he is just on a completely different level. Completely different level. Like every move he does is unblockable, giant, just literally mows down anyone in front of him. There's a whole mission where the entire point of the mission is just to run from him. Like he's kind of a thing. He's a force of nature is the best way to say it.
I'll ask the question that everybody's wondering. The question is, do Lubu and Dong ever get together and have a great time?
Lubu slays Dong.
Whoa.
Oh, in my experience, Lubu always helps Dong.
No.
Man, this is historical fiction writ large.
Yeah, apparently their relationship was too rough.
I see. What type of weapon does Lubu use?
A giant pole.
Hell yeah.
With a pointy tip.
Hell yeah, he does. All right. And that's Dragon Age.
I'm sorry.
Dragon Age. Dynasty Warriors Origins.
The best part about everything that just happened was JP's. Hell yeah, he does. Hell yeah, he does.